A lot of your colleagues, Mr. Richardson, have said this is entirely political. How do you see it?
I also see it as a political action insofar as when this board met in its executive committee in January before the inauguration, we were informed that it's typical that members who have completed a three-year term are reappointed to a second three-year term, which would then be the maximum, and that paperwork was being prepared for submission to request our renewal. So we were going on with the assumption that this was all in order and that we would be renewed at the end of our expiration date.
So why do you see it as political then?
The news, as I said, in part because of the rhetoric that has been surfaced since then. The quotes that I've seen from the EPA spokesperson have said that they didn't want to renew these appointments and they wanted to fill this board with representatives from industry. One quote was that this board should reflect an understanding of the impact of regulations on the regulated community. This is a board that advises on science, and the board had no role in reviewing or approving regulations. So that was a completely separate function of the agency. So I believe that this decision was political because that rationale is not accurate in terms of what this board's authority is.
What we've seen recently, a number of scientists speaking up against the administration, the marches in Washington and beyond, activists rushing to save government science data even before this new administration came in. What are your thoughts among your peers about how the Trump White House is simply approaching science?
Well, I certainly share some of the concerns that you've highlighted. And to be fair, you know, the appointment of my role and the 8 other members who were not renewed were expiring, and certainly any new administration would have the authority and the right to appoint its own advisors. So
will you reapply,
in some
Robert?
ways, this is an I don't plan to at this time, but when you see it in the larger context of proposed changes to the Science Advisory Board, which is a different board, proposed budget cuts, the removal of information and data from the EPA's webpage, taken in totality, this gives me a great concern.